Hi, and welcome to the THC show with Neil Magnuson. This is the Truth, Hope, and Change show where we try to talk a little bit about the truths going on in the world, which can be quite depressing at times. So then we try to figure out some way to have some hope because there are ways to change things. And we're broadcasting again today from the Healing Wave Cannabis Substitution Program Dispensary. On the show today, we will have 8 out of 10 Glenn from CannaMatch.ca. We'll have Jerry Martin for the Martin Medical Moment. And Chris Livingstone will be my guest again today and talk about all the fine work that he's doing on the downtown east side. So this is the Healing Wave Cannabis Substitution Program Dispensary that we're in. That's a dispensary that we opened a couple months ago in response to the city's motion to allow for low barrier access to cannabis to combat the opioid crisis. The city passed that motion in response to our program that we'd been running at Vandu for the past 3.5 years. It was 2.5 years that we had been giving out free care packs of high-dose edibles to hundreds of people there at Vandu when the city finally decided to support us and pass this motion allowing for this to happen. So when the city passed that motion, we immediately met with them, told them about our plans to respond to that motion and to provide the cannabis substitution program from a storefront as opposed to from having people line up for hours in all kinds of inclement weather outside of Vandu on the sidewalk. With what we'd been doing for those years, we would also provide cannabis at really reasonable prices and have low barriers with respect to how people could access it. As you probably know, legalization in Canada has resulted in these cannabis stores, government cannabis stores, that are by their own definition non-medical. And to access cannabis at these non-medical stores that are selling cannabis that you of course could use for medical purposes, because it's hard to not supplement your endocannabinoid system when you're using cannabis, even if it's government weed, that it would take a lot to get there. You have to show ID and have a lot of money and put up with a bunch of unethical packaging and then be satisfied with the stale, old, cheap weed that they're selling for post-prohibition prices that are higher than what prohibition was. And of course, the only reason for $10 grams with prohibition was because people could lose their homes and their livelihood, go to jail, all sorts of criminal stuff could happen to people for being involved in the cannabis trade. So then we got legalization, which was supposed to end all of that, and instead the government thinks that they should increase the price of cannabis and that should be okay. And it's really not okay for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is because cannabis is a natural plant that we all deserve to have real easy access to, and that this plant is so beneficial to people in our society that our public servants should not be getting in the way of people accessing it. They should be helping people accessing it. There shouldn't be serious taxes. There should be supplements from the government to help people to access cannabis. So this legalization and all that brought with us meant that people couldn't even access high-dose edibles. And with the overdose crisis the way that it is, with more people dying here in British Columbia than they are from that other pandemic, well, it just was a real crime in my mind that people weren't able to get the edibles that they needed to replace the use of those opioids. So we started the cannabis substitution program at Vandu, and that has all led to this here. So here we are. We have our storefront for a couple of months now. Right away, we had issues with the city licensing department who were not aware of the city's motion to allow for what we're doing here, or the understanding that we had with the councillor that put that motion forward and had it passed unanimously, that we would open our store and start doing what we're doing, and then the city would come and assess it, decide whether or not it fit their qualifications for low barrier, and if so, license and support us. So we immediately sent threatening letters to us and to our landlord, and that's become our biggest issue. Meanwhile, we did get a hold of the councillor, explained to her what was going on. She's been dealing with the licensing department, and as we left it last week, we were still in limbo, not knowing whether or not the city was going to properly let our landlord know that they were not going to move against us, and we were still facing eviction at the end of the month. But that all changed today, we got an email from the counselor who's been involved in this from the beginning, and she says that that'll be looked after, that the landlord will be getting a letter and explaining that there won't be any action taken against us here, or we go through the process of figuring out how to get licensed. And that's very interesting too, because we're not going to get licensed as other government stores are for non-medical cannabis for the recreational adult market. We're going to get licensed to be able to do what it is that we're doing here, which is to provide low barrier access. So that's very interesting. The Cannabis Act does not allow for that. In fact, we're contravening much of the Cannabis Act with what we're doing here with our dispensary. And so those negotiations are happening behind the scenes. Our lawyers are doing a marvelous job of figuring these things out with the federal health minister, the provincial health minister, and the other people involved. They all want to make this work for us. They're all going to figure out how to make this work for us so that we will be allowed to do what we're doing and eventually get a piece of paper with a signature on it, giving us real credibility and allowing this to happen. And what this is that we're using locally sourced, good quality, high quality organic cannabis provided to us by trusted sources. We're in collaboration here with the ex-members of the Green Cross, other really good people that are involved with us here. We have all of the proper testing equipment. We have certified operators for that equipment. We're testing the weed that we get here that we're putting out, and we're getting it from trusted sources. So that's a big change from the Cannabis Act, where everything has to come from licensed producers, that it's all pre-packaged ahead of time. You can't even see what you're getting. They're going to have to figure out how to license those people that are supplying us here and allow them to do it in the ways that they're doing it. Certainly there's no justification for the over-regulation of cannabis. That's the big issue that we're all aware of here, is that cannabis legalization meant that it was replaced with a regime that was really almost like prohibition amped up a bit when it comes to producing cannabis or supplying cannabis. It's good for the cannabis consumer, who can have cannabis from whatever source they want, not be hassled by the police or by authorities for having that cannabis. They can grow a few plants for themselves. Also an arbitrary, unjustified, unrealistic limit of only 4 plants, which makes no sense because cannabis is one of the best beneficial plants that a person could grow. Why would you want to limit their ability to grow it? The only reason that it's being limited, of course, is because they don't want it to threaten their monopoly of being able to be the only ones supplying cannabis. So we're here doing it the right way this time, and they're going to get behind us and support us, because what choice do they have, really? The work that we're doing here is phenomenal. Not just because we have really good, proper, high-quality cannabis in all of its different forms, edibles, topicals, suppositories, and concentrates and extracts, and just about everything you can imagine in the best ways that it can be had, we have here. But much more important than that is our main focus. And our main focus here on the downtown east side is giving access to the people that can't afford it, the people that are out on the streets, that are homeless, that are in pain, that are suffering, that are addicted to opioids and street drugs, that are risking their lives every day. Our program here of providing high-dose edibles to people, 420 milligrams free every 4 days to the 200-plus members that we have of our program, is really the focus of what this is all about. The reason that we are selling cannabis on the dispensary side of it is to support the ability to give it away to people that can't access it and can't afford it, because they're the ones who've really been left behind in so-called legalization here. People that are homeless, that don't have bank accounts, that don't have ID, that have all kinds of personal issues, mental health issues, addiction issues. These are people that just can't access this, what we're providing here, just about any other way. And so that it's very powerful, very important, crucial to addressing the opioid crisis, that not just us, but other groups as well, get to be able to provide access to high-dose cannabis edibles in ways that have almost no barriers to them. And of course, with our program of giving it away for free, that we've removed all barriers other than the fact they have to come in here. We don't have home delivery yet, which one day we hope to have. We hope to have a mail order coming up as well. But to do all of that, we're going to need a lot more support than what we've been getting. We don't have any support from government yet. We're hoping that once we're properly licensed, that we will get more support. We've got some fantastic people that have been helping us make this work. It only works because of donators and the amazing, compassionate people that have been donating to this program for the 3.5 years that we've been running it. The list is huge, and there's still a number of people that are regularly, consistently donating that allows us to continue to have that happen. But even with that, even with being able to help over 200 people with our free program, where we give out over 80,000 milligrams of cannabis high-dose edibles every 4 days to people, we're still turning people away. We have a waiting list that's approaching 100 people of other people that would like to be part of our program, but just we can't do it yet because we don't have enough donations. So we're really wanting the government to approve us. We're really wanting the government to support us so that we can do more than what we've been doing so far. I mean, I want to give a shout out to some of the donators, and I know there's so many, but recently we've had a lot of help with what we're doing here. I don't post anymore like I used to at Vandu, where twice a week I'd be posting the people that helped us with the giveaways those particular days. In this case, I want to shout out to Goo Goodness, who just sent us an amazing donation that we got today of vape pens that we're going to be able to give over half of our CSP members a free vape pen and cartridge. Colleen Corley, one of the original donators, once again helping us out regularly here with the CSP. Weeds, Glass and Gifts, again, one of the original donators to our program and all the way through the years, and still helping us immensely with what we're doing here. The BC Bud guys over the years have been so great to us and still now helping us with so many things. We have our anonymous gummy person for over 3 years now, has been helping us out with that. Michael the Cookie Monster, going to be my guest on the show coming up early September, and I think we're going to do that on the 3rd year anniversary of him helping out. He gives us these amazing healthy cookies for people, 30 milligrams each cookie. He also provides them to the OPS, and his cookies have been a staple down here on the downtown east side for the last 3 years. So thanks to him. Black Creek has been a great donator. Mary McCarty came here from back east a little while ago. She's been integral to keeping us going with the CSP here. And somewhere in Neverland as well has also been crucial to us. Medicinal Cannabis Dispensary, many others have been so powerful in helping us. I wish I could name them all, but I thought I'd name those few anyway, and I'm sorry for those of you that I didn't mention, but you know who you are. And the one beautiful thing about the people that donate to this project is they tell me consistently that they don't care whether I promote them or mention them or anything like that. They only care that our program keeps going and that we keep being able to help people the way that we are. So very thrilled that we've had all of that help going on here. This is typically a rant at the beginning of the program here, and today I'm very excited and happy that we've overcome the one obstacle that we were worried about, and that was whether or not the city would, in a timely enough fashion, let our landlord know that they were going to hold off on any moving against us while we're in this licensing program. And now that that was solved today, I'm pretty happy about that. But I'm still really unhappy about the whole prohibition thing. I'm very unhappy about the state of this epidemic here with respect to the overdose crisis. We had 175 people die in July from a tainted drug supply. And that tainted drug supply exists simply and only because our public servants decided that they could prohibit certain things from the public to have. And all that did was cause a reaction by the public where the demand increased. The supply moved underground, and all of these other consequences that have happened, the disrespect for the police and for the laws and for government, the amount of lives that have been ruined. And here we are, because of all of that that's been going on for all of these decades, we've got a government that is still invested in the reefer madness that was going on a long time ago, that was all just made up lies to try to protect interests against this plant that is so beneficial and so not harmful to people. It is one of the most safest and benign substances found in nature. One of the most one of the safest therapeutically active compounds known to man is cannabis. I mention this, I mention it almost every show because I think it's so important that, you know, we can overdose on just about everything that's out there. In the grocery store, in the drugstores, all the plants that are growing, anything you could put into your mouth and swallow, you can overdose on. You can die of taking too much. And that includes vegetables and fruits and candies, all the stuff in drugstores, the 100 or so house plants that we have. They all have what they call LD50 dose for 50% of average humans that would take that amount in that amount of time. Has, for all of these different commodities, some attainable limit, and cannabis does not. And the reason for that is because it's been really in a symbiotic relationship with our evolution for millennia here on this planet. And that's evidenced by the fact that we have an endocannabinoid system named that way because the cannabinoids on the cannabis plant are the identical mimics of the cannabinoids or those chemicals that our body creates in the endocannabinoid system, the system that was discovered when they tried to prove that cannabis had no medical value, the system that overlooks and overrides, maintains homeostasis and balance over all of the other systems in not just the human body, but in all of the vertebrates on the planet, strongly demonstrates how the cannabis plant has been a staple food source for life on this planet for millennia. And so that's the reason that you can't overdose on it, that it has an LD50 rating of 1,500 pounds in 10 minutes that's unattainable, is because we're literally made of cannabis and cannabinoids. It's literally part of us, and you can't overdose on something that's part of you. So the fact that this plant is so beneficial and so safe compared to all the other things in our environment, and that our governments are still treating it as if it's some dangerous substance that needs to be highly and strictly regulated and kept out of the hands of children, and all of that stuff is something that really still bothers me a lot. We're fighting with the regulations. We're getting cooperation behind the scenes from the different government ministries that regulate what's going on with cannabis. We are getting support. We are getting concern, and they are going to work to try to get us to overcome the obstacles that are there because you know, they know that what we're doing is of great value. We're just helping people. It's the 419 warning. We have 1 minute, so roll them up if you don't have them rolled. 1 minute from now, we can spark them. But yeah, it's really obscene that we are still having to overcome these obstacles, and that those obstacles are there, and that our public servants are still not telling us the truth about cannabis, about how beneficial it is, and they're still not acting as they should as public servants in helping people get access and supplementing access and making sure poor people have access. And that's what public servants should be doing with the public, is making sure, if they can, that we are able to access something that would help us greatly and not harm us in any way. So shame on the government for for continuing to have obstacles that we need to overcome, but good on them for at least recognizing what we've been demonstrating here for 3.5 years, and that is the safety and the efficacy of cannabis to combat the opioid crisis. And that's what we're doing. So there you go. There's my rant. That brings us to 420. And 8 out of 10 Glenn from CannaMatch.ca is always my guest on the show pretty much here for the 420 session. And he's not here today, but he's here in spirit, and he's here actually in essence with his visuals and his audios, because he's halfway across the country at this time over in Ontario. And can you hear me, Glenn? Are you there, sir? You might be here, I think. Uh-oh. Communication. Long distance communication can be hard sometimes. Hear his laugh. Are you laughing out there? What's going on, Glenn? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Me? Have you sparked it up yet?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
He can't hear me?
No.
I can hear you. Tell me if you can hear me.
How about now, Glenn?
How about now?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh, good. So you're in Toronto or Ontario? Not in Toronto. You're in Ontario. Where are you?
All right. Now I can hear you.
Cool. Where are you?
We're in Barrie, Ontario.
In Barrie. Okay. I've been there a few times. What's the weather doing?
You're gonna have to speak up, Neil.
What's that?
You're gonna have to speak up. I can hardly hear you.
Oh, I have to speak up.
Well, we got issues here. Glenn's doing all kinds of crazy things.
Hold on. Oh no, baby. Hold on.
All right.
Okay. Oh,
I don't know if I can speak up
now
too
we
much.
can hear you. Don't worry, we're all good. Thank you.
So-
it was my phone.
What's the weather anyway?
What do we got, son?
Well, it's sun all day with about 27 degrees and a little bit of humidity.
My friend Jackie. Yes, Jackie.
All right.
Right.
I don't know if people at home can hear him or not.
Jackie's Zoom, Jerry, today. This is the first time that she's ever been on Zoom. Are you there?
I'm here. So what's been going on your trip?
I've been meeting a lot of cannabis people. I have a donation, an anonymous donation for you that I picked up today that I'm bringing that I think you know about. Getting ready to do my discovery on Friday. Tomorrow I have an appointment with the lawyer, and then on Friday morning I got to do the discovery.
I see.
Yeah.
And you've been meeting up with a bunch of good people, I hear?
Yes, I've met up with Heather Pratt and Lana and Sterling and Dave in Winnipeg, and I tried to meet up with Mike in Thunder Bay, but his water heater blew up, so that didn't work out too well.
I see.
We went on to meet Green Irene.
Right, I saw some of that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Pardon me?
Very good. So what? I don't know. What else do you want to say?
I've been calling my trip across Canada. I'm an abuse survivor, and cannabis helped me greatly, and it seems to be that it's helping a few other people. So that's been good to see. Comments, stuff like that. You know, people praising and.
Jerry Martin's joining me in the seat here. So Jerry's going to come and meet me. How you doing, Jerry?
Good, and you?
Pretty good. So okay. Are you still signing up people to CannaMatch while you're on the road?
Yes, we are. I have my laptop with me.
I see. So tell us a little bit about CannaMatch. What's that about?
CannaMatch is a 420 friendly meeting and dating service or site, not service site.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to meet anybody that smokes pot, if you're in a strange city and you don't know anybody that smokes pot, then you can reach out on CannaMatch.ca and find somebody in that area and maybe make a new friend.
Right. And how many members you got now?
4,121.
4,000 how many?
4,121.
So you're almost at 4,200.
Almost.
Wow. Is there something special for the 4,200th member?
Yeah, we'll get lots of 4,200. Okay. We'll give them 10,000 credits.
Nice. Nice. And did you already mention you already give free credits out to the women, right?
I do. Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds awesome.
If it's a guy, hopefully it's a guy, he'll get 10,000 credits, and he can talk to all the ladies who got 10,000 other credits.
I see. And where are you going to be next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, I think we're going to be in Winnipeg.
I see. Cool.
Yes, at Dave's house. We'll see if Dave's home. Most of the time, Dave's not here.
Well, Dave's not here is what I was told.
Well, we're going to drive across the country and see if we can find Dave.
And as I take stock of the store here, I don't think Dave's here. Yeah, Dave's not here.
It's almost like Dave is like the Waldo of the cannabis community.
I seen a meme yesterday. It said Waldo found himself, and it showed him meditating. I thought that was pretty funny.
So I'm going to be at the Canucks game. I'm sure you will be.
We're going to do what?
The Canucks game.
Oh, the Canucks game. Yes, the Canucks game tonight. It's a must-win for the Canucks.
Yes.
You do not want to go down 2-0 to this team.
Yeah, but we let St. Louis win the first game, right?
We did what?
We let St. Louis win the first game, and then we won 2 games in a row. Is that not right?
No, we won both games against St. Louis to start with, and then they won 3 and 4.
Okay. I thought it was the other way around. I thought they
No,
beat us the first
but
time.
we did lose the first game to Minnesota. We lost the first game to Minnesota,
in Minnesota,
3-0,
yeah.
and then rebounded back with 4 straight wins. Oh, you got one.
Okay,
Okay.
well, we're going to do it tonight, I'm sure.
Right, did we lose him for a minute there? Oh, there he is. So, yeah, Mustard, you're going to watch it, are you, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm going to be. Yeah, I've got a nice place near Square One to Mississauga. I've got a nice TV. I'm going to open up the balcony door, do some dabs, and I can see the TV.
Right on. Well, we'll message you when the game starts, and follow along.
Thank you very much. We'll see you in Winnipeg.
We'll see you when you get to Winnipeg. All right, Glenn, you take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Trying to do a Zoom meeting for a 420 session. I don't know. We didn't share joints. I know that much. So with me is Jerry Martin. Jerry Martin is a regular guest on the show. For those of you who don't know, Jerry was a dispensary owner in Whitewood, Saskatchewan. He had his dispensary for about 4 years there. And coming up to about 4 years ago, the cops came in and arrested him and stole his stuff and shut his dispensary down. And he's been trying to get his day in court ever since. And he joins us on the show to help us talk about what's going on in the pursuit for medical rights and access to storefronts. And so anything new, Jerry?
Actually, there is.
There is. Good.
Yeah. They're going to give me my passport back.
Nice.
Yeah, my dad's not doing
so they've downgraded how serious they think your crimes were?
Yeah, he has different views.
This prosecutor.
So he's going to let me go get my ayahuasca retreat set back up and fixed.
Nice.
And go visit my dad if something happens to him. He's not doing really well at all.
Right.
So I need my passport back for that.
Right.
But that's all I asked for. But they threw in a bonus. I don't have to keep the peace or be of good behavior
Don't
anymore.
we all have to do that?
Well, I know, but that's like a mandatory clause.
Yeah,
it's weird. And
oh, by the way, sir, you don't have to keep the peace or be of good behavior anymore.
That's a bonus. And I don't, and they can't just pull me over anymore,
right?
And search my house for just being suspicious,
right? For just being you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's very, very good. That's
so those are some changes. They're not in place yet, but they're going to happen. So,
and I think it's just a step further towards just dropping the whole thing. They can't keep doing this. It's just wrong. It's so wrong, especially now with the ruling that we got out of Alberta there, talking about how storefronts are a constitutional right for people with medical access, and you were proving that when you had your store there.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, so it's a step in the right direction anyways.
On the other hand, in Halifax, Jess James and Chris Enns, they had pharmacists there. Yeah. And now because the city's threatened successfully their landlord and their I guess it's the insurance company that's not going to renew.
Still going?
Well, yeah, they were still going there, and now they're going to have to close their doors if they haven't already because they can't get insurance. The landlord can't get insurance on his building if there's a dispensary there. So more corruption.
I had an insurance company that I was using that did medical cannabis dispensaries.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe there's still hope. You can maybe get a hold of them.
Yeah, they're on the island. I can't remember who that was.
But I mean, it's not them trying to get insurance themselves. It was the landlord for his whole building, and they said because there was
same in my building in Whitewood, they charged me like a huge premium.
Yeah,
but they still allowed it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you would think that
you just got to pay a lot.
Yeah, they for the right price, they'll insure anything. Really, as long as it's in their best interests.
They probably won't insure the product inside and things like that, but they insure the building.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's some trouble on that front. It's just crazy what's going on. CSU is still operating apparently and still going to close places down. I mean, that group should be disbanded with that ruling in Alberta especially. And they should not just be disbanded. They should apologize and give people their stuff back and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
When are they going to admit to this? I guess they're trying to wait till they think they're not going to be culpable in some way. But man, oh man, it's getting really stupid out there, Dr. Malloy, MJ Malloy from UBC, 2 more studies have come out recently talking about the efficacy of cannabis to combat the opioid crisis. There's so much mounting evidence. I mean, that's 40 or 50 good studies, peer-reviewed, like proper scientific studies now showing that cannabis can help people with pain, with all kinds of other depression and anxiety. So, yeah, they got to really stop what they're doing here in the way that they're over-regulating, but mostly in the way that they're enforcing the Cannabis Act against the people that want to supply.
Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't have to worry here at our little dispensary that the CSU is going to come in here and arrest my people and steal all of our stuff. I mean, I should never have had to be concerned about that, but that's just the world that we're living in. So, as far as your case goes, there's no further dates or anything. We're still waiting for them to come up with some date.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm thinking it's like another year.
I mean, it was going to be in the spring when we talked about it in the summertime, and that's going to be in the summertime.
I thought it was going to be like 3 months after I get arrested.
Man, yeah, wow. And
What's going on?
Have we reached the 4-year mark at this point?
November 7th, we will.
November, so that's not too far away.
Yeah.
4 years of just being left in limbo.
Yeah, and not being able to go anywhere or do anything. So, yeah, at least those restrictions are starting to lighten.
Yep. And you're going to take advantage of some of that. And,
Yeah.
Go visit your dad and go to...
If I can, yeah. With the COVID there, though, it's 2 weeks.
Right, in isolation.
At the airport.
Right.
And then 2 weeks per city.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it'll take me like a month and a half to get to them.
And then you mentioned an ayahuasca resort that you got going on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I bought an ayahuasca retreat down in Peru, just off the Amazon River. So it overlooks
When did you do that?
That was about 4 years ago. I bought it just before they raided me in June, so it'd be just over 4 years now.
So that was just a step in the natural evolution of you as a dispensary owner and the things that you were interested in.
Yeah, well, I went down there for, as like I have with cannabis and everything else, I went for personal growth and personal reasons.
Right.
When I find something that's good for someone else, I try and share that. Plus, we're going to help the community down there, like I was doing with Whitewood for the profits.
Right.
You know, buy them equipment and, machinery and things like that. They need.
Beautiful.
School stuff. And
right on.
Kids. And,
cool. And so you're going to go back. You got some work to do there on that.
Oh, yeah. It's destroyed, man. Because the termites and everything. In 4 years of not being there. And I got to be there to teach them how to treat wood. They don't get that. It's chopped down another tree, right? But it's constant rebuilding. So I need to get down there and kind of do a few things myself. 4 years
they've prevented you from going and dealing with your property there, which in your property there was an effort to give back to the community that was in and to bring knowledge here and help people.
Plant medicines and
just disgusting.
So that's great news.
It is, and that's with ayahuasca. Which
the only thing is Willie is treating all the COVID patients right now with Cambo. So I don't know if I want to go there right now. Quite frankly, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, man.
I have my own opinions on the scamdemic,
Yeah, I don't know.
But if there's any place to be, my resort will be the one because I can do some Cambo. It's the best detox there is for anything. So
nice. Yeah. And that's for ayahuasca that you're doing. That ayahuasca helps people with addictions and other things as well.
Yeah, addictions. Yeah, PTSD, traumas, things like that.
And there's a whole new revolution of psychedelics being recognized as useful in helping people with those things.
Yeah, even my meds just put $11 million into DMT research.
Right, and so you've got these other ventures that you've been involved in as well.
Yeah, Mindtech Therapeutics.
Okay. Yeah. And did you change websites now?
I'm in the middle of changing servers because I want to earn. So now I'm going to change servers. I've been with the same server company for 15 years.
Wow.
And so now I need to change servers.
Oh, that's
for Psychedelics.
So you're figuring not too far down the road you'll have
I know I'll have this done the next couple of days.
But right now, Psychedelics.ca is not a website.
No, it's still up. It's still up. Yeah.
Okay, so Psychedelics.ca.
It may change to Psychedelics.net here in the future, but then everything can be forwarded to that. And we're now in Amsterdam. Yeah.
That's a good place to be, apparently.
Yeah. Well, laws are more relaxed there, more in line. It's not that it's illegal here, but it's not. It's a gray area business. Again, and then it's just like the cannabis, right? With the analogs, so we don't have an analog act like the U.S. or Australia or the UK does. So analogs can be used for research purposes. So there's a way to get around the law there, anyway.
And you, the group that you're involved with, has been doing a fair amount of research as well. And also, there's a court challenge coming up about that. Is there any news on that?
No, it's gonna take us probably a little bit. We have another meeting on September 3rd with some doctors and potential investors.
And can people still get involved with that?
Yeah, so we're looking for potential investors. It's a lot. It's like a minimum $500,000 investment.
Right, so you need investors?
Well, for the court case and for the studies. Studies are, you're looking at least $350,000 for a study. If this particular doctor that we're talking with gets involved, we might be able to cut the cost down to $150,000, $180,000.
Right.
But there's ties for that, which costs us in the end anyways. Right?
And do you have enough subjects for the study?
Oh, I think that'll be easy enough. I'll use Microdelics customers and psychedelics.
But if people have a compelling story of how psychedelics has helped them, is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, so we are doing this as well. We're putting together an online survey.
Right.
It just has to be written in a certain particular way so that the courts will accept that survey when the time comes. So we had one designed, but of course we've got to redesign everything and hire experts and this and that, just to make it as court friendly as possible. Right. So that it's
and for people to take part in that survey, online information collecting, that's at microdelics.ca.
No, so that'll be on mindtech.ca. It's not up yet. I'm just in the middle. Like the website part's up, but it's not built yet. We had it on legalmicrodosing.ca, but I'm gonna move everything over to the mindtech website over the next few days. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think we wrap it up. Anything else you need to add?
No,
all right.
Doing good.
Thanks for coming on the show, Jerry. I love it. And we'll see you next week, and we'll see what else is going on.
All right.
Always something going on.
Always something.
Always something. Take care. And I think now we have a video that we're going to play, something that Glenn captured on his journeys there. Is that which?
It's a good journey.
Oh, okay. I'm not smoking.
No, that's a bad journey.
Okay, go ahead, Fred.
Welcome to Incredigrow.
Yes.
Beyond420, I'll introduce you to in the back here shortly.
We'll get there.
Basically, we are the first indoor garden supply store in all of Airdrie.
Oh, wow.
There's been none before, so it was a perfect fit for us to move out here.
Yeah.
For all your growing needs,
And has it been good?
It's been wonderful.
It's been wonderful.
The
Nice.
intake of people coming in here right now, it is taking some stress off of our North Store.
Yeah.
Because all the Airdrie peeps used to have to go out there.
All the way there.
So now they can get everything they need here.
Nice.
And be good to grow.
Nice. And what's the address here so people would know?
116 First Ave Northeast, Airdrie, Alberta.
There you go.
It's easy access.
Yeah.
Super easy access.
When the construction's over.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh no, it's telling me to go through the construction.
Yeah. When all that chaos is over and done with,
it'll be easy access.
It's usually pretty easy access.
Yeah, it's not so bad. It's right out here. And I parked the car right there.
Yeah. Nice Main Street parking.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So we can actually hear each other.
Yeah, I got the voice.
But pretty much everything you
would need. So we got tents here.
Tents and filters.
So these are plug and play?
Yep, these are basically some that are available. If we don't have it in stock, we can bring it in right away quick. But we do have quite the amount of stock right now.
Is there an online?
There is an online, and
is
it's
it
Incredigrow.ca, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it works through Shopify.
Is it Incredigrow.ca? Okay, let's try that again. Sales
at Incredigrow.ca.
Okay, and that's from the boss's wife?
No.
Oh, that's his wife. No. Oh, well, I got to introduce her. She's the wife.
This is Dave's wife.
Oh, Dave's wife. Okay, all right, Dave's wife.
Yes.
Oh, my God. So we've met them.
Up front.
Yeah, all right, yes.
100%.
Yes, because I've met Dave a few times, so I'm sure we've met before.
But pretty much there's nutrients from all over. The newest line we've got in is the Emerald Harvest Simple Easy Success line.
Yeah.
It's got some amazing word of mouth play on it coming out of the Emerald Harvest Cup, which is up in California.
Okay.
So the rep was here the other day on our grand opening.
And do you sell lights and stuff, do you? Got lights up there, yeah?
Yeah, we got the newest Gavitas. They're in the front area, so pardon me if I blind anybody.
No problem.
But these bad boys are...
Are these LED?
These are all LED.
Wow.
This is the Gavita strip.
Wow, okay.
8 different bars inside. It'll do a 5x5 tent.
So is that what you need for 4 plants?
That's This is 4x4, which would suffice, but a 5x5 would be more beneficial, give you a little bit more space.
Yeah, and show you more bud on them because it's growing bigger, right?
100%.
Yes, cool.
So,
well, you got to educate. Some people just don't know. They could be watching this video. Hey, there's a tent. What does it do, right? So I try to ask questions.
The Gavitas are highly sought after. There may be better lights on the market, but these have a 2.6 U-mole ratio. So quite literally, you're getting the best of the best right now that we personally can find in store.
Okay.
So there might be something better, more online friendly that's been created by somebody. But for right now, what we can access in store, these.
So it is, the email is sales at, and the website.
So I was right.
You were right.
www.incredigrow.ca.
There you go, right there. A guy was actually right.
A pothead that was actually correct.
And we got it on video.
That's right. But pretty much sunshades and lights, bamboos, buckets, pails, scissor fixes. Real, actual vegetable seeds.
Some Remo stuff. Remo will be very happy about that.
100%.
Yeah.
Always repping the Remo.
Somebody was trying to make join a group, and the stoners around the world. They said, "Oh, they were Remo Williams from California." I go, "Yeah, no," and he had Remo nutrients. So I went right in there and said, "I'm declining this one. I know where Remo lives."
Somebody screwed up.
Yeah, he lives like 20 minutes down the road from me in Maple Ridge there. So.
Pretty much like
let's go walk around here.
I know a lot of shops.
Oh, I'm walking against the arrows. Is that all right?
That's okay. Follow me.
Sure, follow me.
We're the only ones in here right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you have to do that in this province? Do you have to wear a mask inside?
In Calgary, yes.
Oh, only in Calgary.
In Airdrie, not mandated yet.
Okay.
Want to see? This is probably our brightest light. Warning.
Warning. Okay.
I'm just going to turn it on low. But these are the quantum boards.
Yeah.
They will do a 3x3 tent.
Wow. Gotta go get my sunglasses.
Oh, I know. These things are bright.
Wow.
And that was only at about half mast.
Wow, eh?
The light can dial right up. It is fan corp.
They got tons of lights up there, guys.
The Mars Hydros, the EDK, which is our store brand. Very, very efficient, and start to finish.
Wow,
Start to finish.
And you don't need anything else, just that, eh?
Yep,
that's what you mean by start to finish, yeah.
You will need approximately 8 of those strips to compare and...
compare? Oh, yeah. What about your Gavita? Is it the same thing, start to finish?
I think the Gavita's still going to beat it.
You really?
Yeah.
It's still start to finish also?
Oh, yeah, start to
cool.
finish.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
A little bit more space for growing, help better flow of air and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I personally would go with a bigger tent.
Yes.
Smaller.
Yeah.
You know?
And what does a 5x5 usually run somebody?
I'm going to...
$215 to $399.
Oh, wow. There you go. There, right there. There you go. The manager speaks up. $215 to $399?
Yeah.
And does it come with lights? Or is that just the tent?
Just the tent.
Just the tent.
Yeah.
Okay, so no ventilation, no fans, nothing.
We can create a kit here.
Yeah, so usually full tents are about what, $700? $600-$700?
I've seen them as high as $1,200.
That's $1,200, eh?
Yeah, so some of the bigger ones will cost you money.
Yeah.
It comes down to it. You get you get in what you put.
Yeah.
You get out what you put
in. Yes.
You know?
So if you put $1,200 in, you get a good system.
And that's just it. Like there's like a system that we just set up here, and because we price match with Amazon, we don't actually sell a kit.
Okay.
Because if you find the light on Amazon for cheaper, we will price match it.
Okay.
So if we build a kit, it comes as is. Even if you find the light cheaper, the kit is the price of the kit.
Wow, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can give a better deal.
So even eBay, if somebody found
Shopify, I believe they have it on.
Shopify, yeah.
And like our online store, Shopify, or through
Shopify.
What was I was just gonna...
I don't know. We're having a stoner moment. We haven't smoked anything yet either.
Or no, I did smoke.
Oh, did you? Wow, across the street you had a puff, did you?
Prior till you get in
Oh
here.
yeah. I did that prior all the way from Kamloops.
See, that's the main thing, right? And like, I don't know, we've got orchid buyers that come in and buy equipment from
Yeah.
us. We give a good
So
discount.
it's not
on
just
those.
cannabis.
Not just cannabis. This is literally an
So if you even wanted to
center.
grow tobacco, you could probably find something here.
And if you want to grow house vegetables, anything. A lot of people doing microgreens and stuff like that. We have the trays, the tables for it, stuff like that.
That's all right here,
Doesn't
right?
just have to be cannabis related.
All right. And you got
Good old Fred Bell, man. He's doing an awesome job there in Alberta. Looks like that store's got a lot of different stuff in it, very well stocked, everything for growing all kinds of different things. And like I say, Fred does some excellent work he has over the years and continuing to do that in his new venture. Very happy to see all that going on. So my guest for the show this week will be Chris Livingstone. He's here with me right now. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great.
I almost don't need to introduce him. I think this is the third or fourth time you've been on the show. You got the record so far. On the fifth one, we're gonna have to get you a THC jacket or something like that. I don't know, a tie or something.
Yeah, or a tie.
You're always rocking the ties there. And Chris has been a long-time activist here on the downtown east side. He's one of the founders of WARS, the Western Aboriginal Harm Reduction Society. Been integral in so many of the different things that have happened down here to try to protect people and to try to, get some respect and some rights for those people stigmatized by drug prohibition. And lately, your new venture, you're just a couple storefronts up from here. You've got a little building there. What are you doing with that?
So I'm working with the Vancouver Aboriginal Community Policing and as well as the Aboriginal Front Door Society. They're helping in the location, but the place is called Smoke Signals.
Right.
It's 161.
Sounds like a head shop.
Yeah. Well, we're right next door to you guys.
I know.
So and it's actually. So the place is a communications place, and the idea is that we've all heard about addiction and being being isolated or being disconnected from communities and being disconnected from family. So a long time ago, it started from work from WARS, but it's the work that we wanted to do at the Crab Park Healing and Wellness Center. So the mission of this place is to connect street people to families, to communities, and to service.
Right. So you help them get in touch with their families or.
So I've got a directory called Opioid 101 from the Metro Vancouver Aboriginal Executive Council, and it includes all the Aboriginal service organizations in Metro Vancouver, as well as all the Vancouver coastal health sites.
Right.
So if you're looking for a phone number, if you're interested in going to detox or into a recovery house, sometimes it's not always, you don't always have the options to call somebody. You don't always happen to have the phone number.
Right.
So in this location, we have computers that people can get signed up for email. We've got 3 cell phones that are connected to the wall.
Yeah, it looks like a little phone booth except with cell phones, and it's weird.
Yeah, we're reverse hacking or something.
Yeah, it looks like it's cool
though. So what we want to do, I've started doing some work. We've got a number of volunteers there every day as part of the Embers Peer Demonstration Project.
How do people find you? Is it all word of mouth? Are you putting posters up?
So far it's all word of mouth. We're waiting for the permit still, so we haven't really advertised yet.
So you haven't quite been able to launch it officially, but you're really in operation. I mean, a lot of people coming and going every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully, so since we started, we've had about, a half a dozen food banks.
Right.
And as well bakery sessions, and really you guys made it possible too. I mean, I wouldn't be here if you guys weren't here.
Yeah, it was all sort of came together the right way.
The food wouldn't have come if we weren't here.
Right? Because you guys are here, there's groups that are coming and setting up tables out on the sidewalks on a regular basis. Every few days, there's like huge amounts of food being given out here.
Yeah, that was the very first one was almost the best. It was like 150 cheesecakes from the hotels. So
Wow.
the downtown east side was plugged full of cheesecake.
Every day, grocery stores across this country throw out a ton of good food that, it's just part of how they do their business. So it's good to see that some of that can be reclaimed and given, to people that need it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of feeding people directly as a service, but if we can, at least as a location, we can put out a table and say, bring it here, we'll give it away. And
Right.
so that food doesn't even come inside in most cases.
Right, and that's why you have some concerns about feeding people, is because of food safe and those sorts of issues?
Well, they have gloves, and I mean, they give out gloves to people that are picking the food, and as well as the people that are wearing or giving out the food have PPE on.
Right.
I mean,
So it's just because of the situation that we're in that you have some concerns about that?
Yeah, I just don't want to. If I start feeding people from that location, then it becomes what happens to the waste? What about the composting? What about the boxes? So this way, they bring food. Welcome to bring any kind of donation,
and they look after all the rest of that.
We'll give them away right away.
Yeah, nothing lasts very long. I mean,
No.
when it's gone.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
So where we are with the city is we have our application in for a permit for the site.
For smoke signals?
The interesting thing is the city requires a criminal records check for vulnerable sectors.
Right.
So they have to check all the board of the Vancouver Aboriginal Community Policing Center, which is supported through the BPD
right.
and the city already.
Right, but they still want to do criminal record checks.
Yeah, so that's what they've asked, and I've asked if they could waive certain things, and I had to do a criminal record check to be an outreach worker for them, and as well my coworker Ellie, who also works in the shop here, also did her criminal records, and we both passed. And
well, that's good.
So I'm hoping that I could forward our criminal record check to the city and say that, well, we're the ones that are going to be working in here, and so here's our criminal record checks, which is the last piece in all of our application stuff.
Right.
And then they should just don't even look at the board of the community policing. Obviously, they're going to be not criminals.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. You're kind of like the opposite of criminals, pretty much.
Yeah. So we hear lots of sentiment about defunding the police in Vancouver, and this is just kind of an example of some of the things that they can support, right?
Right.
So instead of just taking away budgets, they could keep the budgets the same and just reallocate to create more mental health workers, create more peer programming.
Right.
And so with this place, I'm hoping that the volunteers will take it over at a certain point, right?
Right.
So it's pretty self-managed, right?
I see.
So we've got peers that are from the Amber's Peer Demonstration Project, as well as another project coming online. I'm trying to link in Toro and the Toro Wars and the Dukes Club have a coalition. So I'm hoping all of them could start providing outreach workers. So I've also asked BC Housing to bring in the homelessness information management system.
Right.
So I've got a giant tablet in there that I want to put that management system in there. So when people come, it's not really a vague thing where we're going to send them. We're going to send them to this shelter or this space here because they have a bed and we don't.
Right. So you're helping people find spaces to stay for the night. You're helping people reconnect with their homes and their families and things like that. And you have outreach going on. Are you just kind of going to the people that are on the street and asking them where they're at in their life and if they need help?
So we've got. So I've been stuck here for a couple of months setting up the site. So
we're happy to have you here, by the way.
I haven't been out in the field so much.
Right.
But my coworker is out on the street quite often.
And you were quite involved with the Oppenheimer Park Tent City. Have you been involved at all with what's going on at Strathcona?
So since I've started here, I've been staying away from there. I'm letting their organizers have their own space, and that the last time I was on the show, I talked with you about creating a citizen patrol in the downtown east side. And so what they got down there was that we were going to step. It's kind of like stepping on their toes, right? So
I thought you'd be kind of welcomed into space to, you know.
I think it would be. I think it would be as long as we incorporated them into the planning.
Yeah, you're just trying to help them, really.
Staff. But they've got to feel like they're wanted and needed, and then they have to be encouraged to come up here and join.
Right. And then you had some issues with volunteers for that patrol.
Well, so we just want to patrol in the downtown east side and observe what's happening. So the idea is we're kind of First Nations storytellers. We talk about what we see out there in day-to-day life, interactions with the police, interactions with ambulance, the healthcare system, with nonprofit organizations, interactions between people.
Right.
So
and there's a lot of stuff going on in the downtown side. It's an ongoing, constant. I don't know what to call it, but I mean, it's just so much stuff out there. There's a lot of people carrying bear mace these days, so there's a lot of people being maced.
Including elders, First Nations elders. Somebody just talked to me about that today.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of unrest. Of course, we're in the middle of this situation here where people are very divided amongst themselves, and you know, there's a lot of people struggling, and there's a lot of people struggling with just their overall mental health to try and stay positive. So that what you're doing is really, really positive in helping people for sure. How long do you think it'll be before you get a license to do this? You're on the last hurdle.
Yeah, I think it should be within a week or so.
Oh, okay, well, that's very cool.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you're still just helping people like we are here, right?
Yeah, we're doing the food bank, and we've had other successes too. We were able to get $375 from income assistance to help a person deal with bed bugs.
Oh, yeah.
So, and as well, helped a person get into detox, and I think the longer, once the word gets out that we've got technology ready for people that don't have it and people that aren't connected, then they're going to come in droves, I think.
Right. Are you referring people here? I guess you would be if they're using substances and you think that we could help them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, people walk in there all the time thinking that it's here.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how they could miss this place, but you know, of course, they're wandering around on street drugs, so maybe that's why. So some of the issues that are going on, I mean, we're having a lot of people die of overdose still here. This is a real serious situation going on, not just on the downtown east side, but all throughout British Columbia, through every demographic for sure. What is it that you guys are doing to help with that?
So, it's the worst overdose months ever since COVID hit. It's way worse. It's way worse than last year.
People getting an influx of money.
Almost twice as much.
People being by themselves.
Last year. Way more men proportionately. I looked at the statistics. More men have passed away in this month compared to last.
Yeah.
It's a very sad situation.
It is.
So what are we doing? That's, I would say, not enough. I would say, I mean, here you guys are able to get to a certain amount of people. I think that if you guys were able to get your licenses and your permits, then you would be able to help even more people.
That's what we understand too. That we have to cap our list right now of how many people we can help. And if we got our actual permission to be here, I think that would really increase the amount of people that would help us, and we'd be able to help a lot more people.
Yeah, and so I've been around for a long time. This is the third time that I've been on this show, but I've been in the downtown east side for quite a while. I used to smoke crack and way back in.
I didn't know you at that time, but I've known you for at least 16 years now.
Yeah, so all that time I've been saying that cannabis is the key out. Right?
Yeah.
So it was only because I was able to increase my access to cannabis that I was able to get better.
Right.
So
and that sort of prompted you and Suk to pursue the herb school originally. Chris was the reason that we had the herb school, which was 16 years ago. Well, you and Suk, I mean, you approached David and and had this idea that you wanted to have a place where you could talk about the harm reduction value of cannabis.
Yeah.
And
We actually wanted to get medicine to people. yeah, exactly.
Well,
what you guys wanted to do.
Yeah, and so I mean that's the reason that happened, was you were able to secure a building and put some money towards the rent every month that allowed us to use that. And that led us to here. I mean, you've been a huge part of our journey in making cannabis available.
And so that's what, been 15 years, and it's the 16 years, and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, we're still fighting the same thing.
People can't afford the plastic. They can't afford the weed that's in the regular stores.
Yeah.
Nobody around here can afford large amounts of cannabis.
I know.
I mean,
well, the Blue Door, I mean, good on the Blue Door. They've been here, for all this time, offering relatively inexpensive cannabis, not as much as we're able to here, but still good on them. I love Dave and Shannon. I love what they've been able to do and withstanding several different raids. But, I mean, we used to have more dispensaries here. There used to be Limelight and a few others that were in the neighborhood, but all usually very high price still. Some of them had compassionate programs for people, but there wasn't a lot of that.
Well, it was interesting. So after they shut down the herb school and then the museum afterwards, you notice over the years later, they were replaced by other cannabis.
We did the CSP up at Van Dude. The Blue Door opened up, and
and there was some down on Granville, and I was totally, what I noticed was it didn't have the same atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So the atmosphere of the herb school was friendly. There's people around smoking. Generally a good vibe. The vibe that I gotten when I come back was that these are really tough guys that are watching the cannabis,
and their business, it's all business.
Yeah, I don't know who it is that's selling the cannabis even anymore.
Right. So, we're trying to return back to the old vibe of the herb school here. We don't have the consumption lounge that we had there, but we let people consume on site. We got this area that we're using on Tuesdays for broadcasting the show that usually people can sit here, roll a joint, light it up, smoke it. They can sit and talk for a while. We try to dispense, I don't know what the word would be, compassion. That's what we're trying to dispense here, is compassion. That we have a hands-on approach. We don't have prepackaged stuff, so it's not just a business of, here's the money, here's the thing, go. It's, a moment or two of someone's attention. So our bud tenders are all compassionate people. They're all actually board members and volunteers for the Cannabis Substitution Project, and they really spend a little bit of time with everybody, especially if they sense there's something not quite right going on. A lot of people are having trouble when they walk in here, and we try to make sure that everybody leaves in a good frame of mind with a smile on their face. That's part of the whole package here.
So you know about that? Have you heard about the risk mitigation document that the BC Centre for Disease Control put out?
No.
So it's basically the guidelines for safe supply.
I see.
So it's got all the list of...
Is cannabis mentioned?
Cannabis is actually in there, but it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's in there, but there's no... They didn't actually form a COVID response for cannabis. I think that the city said that people can mail cannabis out now for sale, but I'm not certain. Right?
Well, when the city had their hearings about what we're doing here, Dr. Daly from Vancouver Coastal Health, I mean, piece of shit, I got to tell you, what she had to say was just disturbing as could be to me. And one of the things she said is that people on the downtown east side don't need to have a storefront where they can access medical cannabis because it's readily available on the street corners. Can you imagine that? I mean, a doctor saying, go ahead, use prohibition devices for getting your cannabis. Just go see the guy with the trench coat down on the corner. That's all we need here on the downtown east side. It's readily available for people. That was disgusting, is what I thought about that. We've been proving, I mean, she never came to see us, by the way. Nobody from Coastal Health ever came to see us. For 3.5 years, we were at Van Du twice a week. And I was always appealing to have government and Coastal Health and doctors and media come down and see what we're doing there, because it was very powerful. Every time we were there, to be hundreds of people getting these care packs of high-dose edibles, and so appreciative, and so many stories we were being told of how it was helping people in profound ways. And yet the authorities never came and saw what we were doing there, even though what we were doing there was really contravening the criminal code and the Cannabis Act. Yet still, they're not going to come and see what's going on. they've got the criminal code being invoked because supposedly there's serious damage being caused by people getting access to cannabis. And so for that, they have to use the criminal law to keep people away from it. And there we are giving out, copious amounts of high dose edibles, and they're not even going to come and check us out. They're not even going to come and see what's going on. So, really disgusting in that sense. And then to have Dr. Daly stand up there and say that, well, people don't, on the downtown east side, they don't need a storefront, because they can get it from their local dealer, and there's lots of those. I thought that was just terribly disgusting comments. And she had lots more than that, too, that she had to say about how cannabis harms the developing brain, how cannabis is dangerous to people that have schizophrenic issues or mental health issues and all of those things. And nothing could be further from the truth, except that some strains of cannabis that are on the sativa side can aggravate some mental health issues, but all people need is proper information and proper access to all the full range of the relaxant to the stimulant side of cannabis. So yeah, I'm still ranting about that a little bit, that they haven't come there. They haven't come here either. The only person that's come here is someone from the licensing department early on in being here. And they right away said, "Oh, you're selling cannabis. You can't be doing that. You don't have a license." And
So here's my question. So you've been doing this for a number of years, you've gotten lots of medicine to lots of people over the years.
About 250,000 doses, by the way, of high dose edibles.
Yeah. So now you're here in this site. How does it affect the donors? So people that were giving you cannabis before, supplying you to give out to people, versus now where you're in a setting where you're sort of selling weed and you're giving weed. So how does it sit with people?
Our main donators are still our main donators. That they've been consistent all the way through. I think that we might have lost some of the sporadic, infrequent donators. I don't solicit for it like I used to. I'm not posting every Monday and every Friday about the giveaway and who helped us.
And so what your hope is that this venture will provide that capital so you can
absolutely it already has
to keep it.
Yeah, it already has. The dispensary side is already majorly supporting what's going on with the Cannabis Substitution Program. It's a very symbiotic relationship between the two. The dispensary side pays the rent on everything and provides free space for the Cannabis Substitution Program. We give a portion of the profits. We pay for all the staffing of what's going on there with that. And so that our project was having trouble at Vandu. Mostly to do with the amount of people that were lining up, how that line was hard to manage, how I was unhappy that we were not allowing people to have proper choice of what they were getting. Here they get to choose from all the different things that we have. Some of it provided by the donators, some of it provided by the Healing Wave, as we make sure that the different things that people would need for the CSP are there. And so now it's so much better than it was before. I can't imagine. I would not go back to the street. I would not go back to having a lineup like that. What I told our lawyer was when he said, they really want you to do these things. And I said, well, and what would you do if they don't allow you to keep doing it in your storefront? Would you go back to Vandu? And I said, no, I don't think we'd go back to Vandu. I don't think we could repeat that. But I probably would set up tents and tables right in the middle of Hastings and Maine, and until we got proper attention for what we're doing, because this is serious. There's 200 plus people that are coming here to get high dose edibles, 420 milligrams every 4 days, and if we weren't able to help them with that, they'd be out on the street having their issues to deal with, not having the cannabis high dose edibles that they're being provided through us. And they'd be back accessing through the poison drug supply and going back to other ways of dealing with their pain and their issues. And that scares the hell out of me. I wouldn't allow that to happen. And that would be so serious to me that I think that we would set up tables and tents right in the middle of the main intersection down here and block traffic and do what we're doing here until the authorities came and helped us. But we're not going to have to do any of that. City Council seems to be great. They passed a motion unanimously. Rebecca Bly has been awesome, since we moved in here, and she understood the issues we were having with city licensing. Judy Darcy, her office, the conversations I've had with them, extremely supportive of what we're doing here. John's been dealing with the federal health minister, and they're concerned about us and going to make sure that we get to keep doing this. So, we're not going to go to Main and Hastings and block traffic. But that just, to me, I wanted to express that because we got a dozen stories a day here or more of people coming in and telling us about how profound it is that we're able to give them what we can give them and what that means to them and how it's helping them. And, it's just so powerful what we're doing here. Every day that we remain open is another day of at least a dozen more powerful stories, at least another 100 people coming and getting access to things and saying, thank you so much for being here and doing this. That I just want the government to witness this. I said if Mark McClellan from City Licensing thinks that we should stop doing this, then he should come here and spend some time watching us do what we're doing, and then he should be the one to have to stand outside our doors and tell those people that, sorry, we're not going to let you have what you've been getting here, and come up with some reason why that would be the case, because there is no reason for us not to do what we're doing.
So I wonder, is there controversy, or what would be the people's questions, that would stir? So what is it that people... I'm just thinking, would anybody have any complaints about the way things are going
in the government, you mean?
In anywhere.
Well, with the government, it's that we're not licensed by the province to be able to have a store to sell cannabis, and nobody's allowed to have a store that sells cannabis if they're not licensed by the province and using cannabis that comes through the liquor union. Yeah. And is distributed to these dispensaries sight unseen, can't open the packages, and that's just... So the big concern on the government side is well, where are you getting your supply? Because everybody has to get their supply from Trudeau's licensed producers. And I mean, that's fine. That would be fine. It's not fine, but it would be fine if it was easy to be a Trudeau's licensed provider, producer. And it's not. So our supply comes from compassionate growers and concentrate makers who are using best practices. All the stuff we get coming here is either from very trusted sources or tested. We have all the testing equipment. So I don't think that's a valid concern of theirs, but that is the biggest resistance that we get.
The interesting thing, so I read a little bit about the application process, and so the biggest thing is they want you to buy their weed.
Yep.
They want you to buy their plastic.
Yep.
They want
use their pricing.
They want you to pay the application fee so all of your workers could be criminally background checked.
$9,000, by the way, for that.
And then you also have to have good credit on top of all those things.
Right.
So you actually already have to have money.
Yeah, exactly.
So who does that exclude from running a cannabis store?
Right, it would exclude us.
Almost everybody.
Yeah.
And almost every person.
And what this is a community-based cannabis shop. This is the community responding to the needs of the community, and that's what this is. So this business model that the government has of licensed stores and government-produced cannabis does not meet the needs of this community or probably any community.
And they open up that application process to foreigners.
I see.
You don't even have to be Canadian.
Well, in fact, I heard that there's some Saudi billionaire that's backing the dispensary.
That's what I mean. It's only for the guys that got money.
Yeah.
It's not for... And wow, when I think about reconciliation and First Nations people and gaining equitable market share or authority or any of those things, I think they just threw it out the window.
That's
and
right.
They keep throwing it out the window.
It doesn't apply here.
And giving it to whoever's got the cash, who wants to come here and give them the cash.
And so therefore what we've got is people involved in the business that only care about cash.
Yeah.
They put a bunch of cash out to be able to do what they're doing, and that's what they care about. And profits are their concern. And the difference is this is a community-based cannabis shop where everybody that works here, and especially myself and my business partner, our concern is about getting good quality medicine to people at really affordable prices. It's the people over the profits that is completely different than their profits over the people model. So this needs to exist. I mean, I guess they can have their stores, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have their stores. I'm not saying that Shoppers Drug Mart shouldn't be allowed to sell cannabis. I think they should, but not if it's going to exclude us and people like us. There's a lot of people like us across Canada. I chat regularly with many of them that are really anxious to figure out how they can kind of do what we're doing to give back and to help out in this situation. So yeah, it's a different attitude. It's a different business model, but it's one that really is crucial in providing access to cannabis to people that would otherwise be struggling with street drugs and the opioid pandemic. So I guess I was told it's not a pandemic when it comes to opioids, it's just an epidemic. I don't know the terminology, but I do know that it's serious.
Yeah,
and
overlapping multiple pandemics.
Yeah, it's serious.
There is another word for that, actually.
And the government cannabis stores are not meeting the need of the people to combat this overdose crisis. So we are.
So I did have another thing that I wanted to talk with too, or talk to you about. So later on in September, I think about the 25th, I'm going to be on Homelessness Services British Columbia. I'll be doing a
panel or something?
webinar.
A webinar, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a conversation with me, all about the beginning of wars and the Woodwards and Tent Cities, Victory Square, Crab Park,
nice,
and Anita Place, and I'll be talking a little bit about the idea of managed tent encampments.
Right.
So you asked me kind of what I was doing. I'm not doing anything directly with them, but I definitely want to talk to the province about responsibility, about that homelessness exists. BC Housing should be responsible. They should support outreach. They should create homes. We need to get ready for winter, right?
Right, and Sue had a really good idea with little mini houses and how they could be set up in places they could be set up as well. She's still following through on that, or you guys are still following through on that?
Oh, we still hope. We're waiting to get plans or the designs for those, and somebody's supposed to build one, but really it's the city that's got to make some room. That St. Paul's Hospital doesn't seem to be building very fast, so why not get rid
But
of
homelessness is a real issue, and it's not going away anytime soon. People need options. There's going to be people that are going to stay in tents because that's what they want to do, and humans get to do what they want to do for the most part. So we just need to manage that in a way that makes sense for everybody.
Well, you've seen down where St. Paul's is going to be, right?
No.
So it's on Concord's land right by Terminal. So there's a parking lots there full of rotten cars.
Okay.
Secondhand Beamers and Lexuses for kilometers.
I see.
There's thousands of cars there.
Wow.
They should just move Tent City over to that site and evict those cars, or
let people
make
live in
those cars the new homes.
Yeah, exactly. Convert them into little mini homes or something. I don't know.
Up off of the ground, away from the rats, away from the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
They shouldn't sell all those cars. They should crush all them anyways.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention about that.
There's a lot more that could be doing. Like you say, you would like to do more, and there's a lot more the government could be doing as well.
So last year there was just over 120 tents in Oppenheimer Park.
Right.
Now there's over 300 tents in Strathcona Park. So 3 times as many people. There's going to be 3 times as many fires.
Yeah.
There was a fire every week and a half there.
In the wintertime. Yeah.
Or from fall
and people died too, right?
No, nobody's died. Nobody died last year. They caught everybody.
So the woman that died in her tent, that wasn't in Oppenheimer. That was somewhere else where a woman died in her tent. And,
that was just video footage they were showing.
Oh, I see.
I don't think so. I didn't hear about it.
Well, there's always issues, people trying to stay warm in the wintertime. I mean, we have more homelessness here in Vancouver than anywhere else in Canada, and that's because our climate is better than anywhere else. But it still gets really cold here. and people have issues, you know, when they're trying to survive the winter.
So if you look at that running track where Strathcona is and the tent city
Right.
people are there,
Yeah.
how easy would it be to just go in there with a Pulaski and dig a little tiny trench or foot deep and drop your cable in there and hook it up to a generator and have outlets?
Exactly. That wouldn't be. They have that capability in parks anyway. They can light those places up.
Yeah.
So yeah, they should provide electricity for
They
people.
should, or people will have to use candles. I mean, at least if there was electricity, you could put a breaker on it.
Yeah.
So that fires are not likely to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you can never fully eliminate the risk, but you can minimize it.
That's right.
To acceptable standards. And the fire code just saying you can't have fires, you can't have propane, you can't have this, you can't have
warm
that,
yourself.
isn't an option. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need heat to stay alive.
Yeah.
And everybody deserves those things.
That's right, for sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm hoping that they're going to kick in this winter and do something, because winter is the really serious time for people that are homeless and what have you. And there's an opportunity for our governments to do a lot more than what they're doing here. They've shown what they can do during this coronavirus pandemic. They can do similar things for this other epidemic if they wanted to, but there's not a lot of will on the part of government to do that, unfortunately.
It makes me wonder if they negotiated treaties under good faith.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder if they did. You know, I think they probably.
I'm not wondering too hard.
No, you don't have to wonder too hard. You can just imagine that they were celebrating pretty hard when they signed those treaties and got what they wanted on their side of the deal, and they'd actually pulled one over on the Indigenous people.
They hid half the table.
Yeah, they hid half the table. Yeah. So a lot of that's got to be revisited and redone. It's getting ridiculous that it's gone on as long as it has. There's so much tension involved with the Indigenous community because of it. It's time that our government stepped up and did the right thing. It's long overdue. So, anything else we should talk about?
No, that's about it, I think.
Yeah.
I've had a long day, so.
Yeah, we've had lots go on. It's been a very, very productive last couple of weeks here. We think we've got our agreement now with the city that they'll allow the landlord to back off, and then we can just do what we're doing until they figure out how to let us do what we're doing. So that's really good. And you're hoping your final little hurdle will be successful and smoke signals can open officially, and then we can have quite the impact on the downtown east side, which we already are having. Even though we're not official yet.
We've had people coming up from the Salvation Army and say the block is great.
Yeah.
The change is noticeable.
Yeah, the change is noticeable. I've had people come here just today and say that they were coming on their way here. Everything was bleak. You could smell crack in the air. And then they turn the corner and they come onto our block and they can smell cannabis in the air. And there's a bunch of happy people, hanging around. Yeah. And there's just a whole different vibe. And we want this to spread. We want this to spread like a wave, like a healing wave, right across not just this community, but right across Canada. So thanks, Chris, so much for all the efforts that you're putting in here for so many years of doing good, man. I mean, I didn't know you when you were back on the streets struggling with issues. I started to know you when you had risen out of that and wanted to give back and help the other people that were stuck where you were. And what I've witnessed out of you in the last 16 years is nothing but just an overflowing of compassion, care, hard work, diligence, for what's going on down here. You are such a pillar of this community at a young age.
Thank you.
We'll be talking 20 years from now, and you'll have a whole huge other list of things that you've accomplished here. And I just wanted to thank you so much for allowing us to have the Herb School, for allowing us to grow along beside you and to help you in your pursuits, and you're helping us in our pursuits. And together, we're all in this together. We're a huge community of people here helping on the downtown east side, and it's a very beautiful thing. So thanks for that. Thanks for coming on the show. 3 times now I've dragged you out of your regular life to come and talk to us. I appreciate that very much, and we look forward to more things in the future. So,
thank you, everybody.
Good luck, Chris. Great.
Matt from Two Hoots.
Right on.
There you go. Nice to see you. Nice to finally meet you,
Yeah,
eh? All right,
man.
show us your store.
All right, come on in. This is our bong room right here.
It's a bong room.
We're the only clover bong dealer in south of Leduc, so we got lots of clover.
Oh,
Red eye.
those are big bongs.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The hardcores.
Yeah, those are really, really hardcores. And all that air you have to suck up just to get to your smoke, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Your
your medicine.
Everything here is from local artists who are in the neighborhood, you know, Edmonton.
Nice.
Red Deer. A couple from guys from Ontario.
Oh, wow. Sorry for the finger there, guys.
Yeah.
Nice stuff. Are you busy here?
Yeah, we're actually really busy, man.
And then you also got twohoot.ca, right?
Twohoot.ca, yeah.
Yeah, because I've ordered
website.
you guys may have seen my email that I use in my videos. Matt here has provided my email for me for a while now. It hasn't given up on me.
Yeah,
no,
given up on you.
yeah. If you really want a good email, man, this thing's about 3 or 4 years old. The only thing that gave me a hard time was the cord, but you replaced the cord. It was really nice. So
that's the only thing that's ever gone wrong with those things.
really, eh? So the control, I don't have to worry about it so much.
Everything works out. So back here, we got all the dab gear.
So this is all your dab
Bangers.
stuff? Oh, wow. Eh?
Bangers.
Oh, man. See, now I just want a pipe in Windsor, or else I'd buy one. But yeah, well, they're nice.
We got our desktop emails and our.
Oh, there's mine. There it is right there. And that's a new one?
This is it's a new digital style.
Ooh. And how much is that?
$300.
300 bucks?
Come on, there it goes.
Well, that's digital too, right?
That's digital too, yeah.
But what's the difference of this digital and that digital?
This one has a remote control.
Oh!
No, it gives you little messages if your coil's not working and shit. It's a bit smarter.
It's smarter.
Whether you need a smart email or not, right? But
yeah, and the other one's $240, so that one's $60
this one's
more.
$300, yeah. This one's $200. This is our portable one.
Oh, that's
0 to 900 in 2 seconds.
Oh, wow, eh?
Drop a cold dab on there.
Wow.
No carb cap needed.
No carb cap needed, eh?
No.
Wow. And that's for 200 bucks?
That's a Two Hoots product. Yeah, the nuke.
Nice.
Comes in this kit right here.
And what about for cleaning and all that stuff?
I'll show you. The coils come right off. These coils are replaceable. There's 3 coils.
And they can get this on twohoot.ca, right?
They can, yep. Coils come off. Titanium coil.
Oh, wow.
Good for 1,000 hoots.
Wow. What about reclaim and all that stuff?
Reclaim gets collected in there. It's awesome.
Yeah?
We call it nuclear waste.
So can you put a reclaim collector down below it?
You don't really need to. Whatever it collects is right in these channels right here.
Yeah.
Then you gather it out and you pull it out of these holes.
Yeah.
You could put a reclaim collector below, but I don't think it would go in there because it's basically...
Yeah, because I have a collector from Justin Thatcher Catcher, so... Wow, eh?
Battery powered, rechargeable?
Yeah, and how many dabs can you use on one charge? Have you counted?
50.
50?
Oh, 50. I mean, I
It'd be like that Tootsie Roll commercial.
Yeah.
How many licks can you get out of a Tootsie Pop, right?
Yeah.
So how many dabs can you get out of your nuclear one, right? That'd be great. Eh? We should do like a video and see how many it takes until it dies, right? Because I did
a collection of shatter pens. And,
nice. I did 26,000 an hour and 14 minutes on YouTube, so we could see if it'll last that long.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad, eh? And I'm still talking and breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, she's warm. You need a fan in here, Matt.
We got CBT.
Nice.
We're not supposed to sell it, but we do.
Oh, no, you're just helping people with, right? All right, well, let's do it, guys. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Now we're going to go over Fred and Matt. And, Fred and Jeff.
Dirty Dave. Jeff or is it Dave?
Dave's there. Yeah,
Dave's over there too.
Dave's over there too. All right, guys, have a great day. Ciao.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's a great looking shop for sure. Looks like they got a little bit of everything that you could ever want there, all with flashing lights and fancy displays and everything. That's a wonderful thing to see. Big thanks to Glenn for getting that video for us and doing this while he's on his trip there. That's really awesome that we get to have a little look at what's going on other places and what they're doing in Alberta there. So that's kind of it for the show. We have other shows on Pot TV. I want to thank Cannabis Culture and Pot TV for allowing me to have this time. I want to thank thank my producer and Neil for being such an amazing person and getting all this stuff together and keeping me on track. We also have on Pot TV on Mondays, we have the 420 Health Lifestyle Show, 420 Lifestyle, with Carly Marley and BC Bud Gal. More entertainment than you can find on any other show, I would suspect, with those two. Next Tuesday, I'll be back with another episode of the THC Show. On Wednesdays, we have Greg Williams, Marijuana Man, with his From Under the Influence and his amazing perspective on all things to do with cannabis in the world. On Thursdays, it's Morning Glory with BC Bud Gal. Some random time in the morning, you can wake and bake with her. And on Fridays, it's Johnny B with How's It Growing? I get that wrong every time on purpose because I want you guys to know. So let's get growing with Johnny B. He's growing, from seed to bud and explaining it all along the way and all the processes involved and all the other stuff. So obviously a great, entertaining, and educational show to watch. And there's no other shows at this point, I don't think, on Pot TV. Check any time and see what's live streaming, or check any time and go to the archives. I think you can go and watch all the other episodes of my show if you search through the archives there. That's true. They're all there, and everyone is different. Someone said they hadn't seen the show yet. I said, well, nobody's seen the show yet because I haven't seen it till I do it, because every week is different. So thanks for joining me for this week. We'll keep you updated as we go in the pursuit for medical cannabis rights, and tell you how we're doing here at the Healing Wave Cannabis Substitution Program Dispensary. And while you're out there changing the world, make sure that you just have as much fun as you can. Thank you.